Happy Sunday. I'm here and welcome to my channel. You have stepped into the realm of orgasmic bliss, a channel where we promote pleasure, presence, and power, where we promote joy, orgasmic living, aliveness, vitality. Here we talk about things that bring joy, things that bring pleasure. It's all about orgasmic living. And when I speak about orgasmic living, it's not just about sexual orgasms. Even though sexual orgasms, I'll say it again, very important, it's medicine, it's good. But I'm speaking about the sacredness of our being, who we are, the wholeness of who we are. I'm speaking about the sacred intelligence of our bodies, loving our bodies, and being open to experience the pleasure that comes when you are tapped in. So, I also speak about the life force that moves through us and the remembering of who we truly are before we stopped suppressing pleasure, before we stopped being in the present moment, and before we became guarded with all of our connections. So, welcome to my channel. I am Aziza, and I am a crone. I'm in the crone stage of my life. And who would have known that it could be such a happy place to be? It actually took me a long time. I won't say a long time, but it did. It took me some time to fully accept where I was, because as I reflected on the elders that had passed before me and, just looking at their lives and different things that were going on, I almost had this, not really a fear, but I was hesitant to fully step into that stage because I didn't really see much joy there, you know? But then I said, you know what? I'm here and I'm joyful and I'm in a very pleasurable stage of life. So why not share it? Why not let people know, women know that it's a good time? It's a good time. As women, we go through different stages. We have our childhood, the teens, those middle years, and then we come here. And this is a culmination of all the experiences that we have had through the stages that came prior. So, anyway, how's everyone today? Post in the comments for me how you're feeling today. And where are you tuning in from? I'm happy you're here. And I want you to know that this channel is an invitation to free yourself into your most blissful self, to reclaim pleasure as wisdom, and to live a turned on life just by living life itself. So I had a couple of thoughts that came to me that caused me to stop and contemplate. And one of them was that, well, before we go there, it's a beautiful day. Today's Sunday. It's chilly here, but the sun is shining, the wind is blowing, and it feels good out here. just one aspect of joyful living, finding the beauty in the little things and the simple things. But back to the thought. So I had a thought this week, and I was actually going to post about it on Facebook, but I got busy and didn't. So I want to talk about it here. And it was something simple. It was a simple thing. The simple statement was, stop making pleasure a sin. Stop making pleasure a sin. And if anything, pain should be a sin. Pain should be the thing that people don't do because, it doesn't feel good. But yeah, that was the thing. Pleasure, stop making pleasure a sin. And so I asked myself about that and where did it come from? And it primarily comes from living in a society that is governed by religion, by people who have hang-ups, by people who want to control others. And so, yeah, pleasure is a very powerful force, especially sexual pleasure. And it's become very deviant within Western culture. I'm sure it's in all culture. I'm not just going to say Western culture. It's just become very deviant to people because it has been suppressed so much and because it has been made to feel like it's a sin. Not that I believe in sin, but I grew up with that. I grew up with that understanding of certain things are a sin and certain things are okay. But, a lot of what we learned about sex was like, you couldn't do it until you were married. And if you did it outside of marriage, it was a sin. So, of course, if you're doing it and you're not married, it's all already ingrained in you that you're committing a sin. So it's hard to enjoy. So I was like, do away with that. Stop making pleasure a sin. That's it, If anything, pain, inflicting pain on others, having pain, that's the sin. That's the stuff you don't want. No, I don't. But yeah, that was that. And because pleasure is our birthright, we deserve pleasure, and it's okay to have a pleasurable life, to find pleasure and joy in things. I feel like almost we live in a time, a world, a society, at least within my perspective of things, that like being in pain is a badge of honor. Pain and suffering is a badge of honor. Like the more pain you have, the more suffering. It's like, yeah, I did this and this happened to me and this person did that. And, it's like, that's the stuff people want to hear. But the minute you start talking about something pleasurable, something joyful, something orgasmic, it can be a turnoff for some people. They're afraid of it. It's sinful. Talk about it, but talk about it within a guarded context. Don't come out full force with it because it's a sin. You're not married. Anyway, that was just something that had come to me, and I'm on a mission. That's my mission in life, to bring forth more pleasure, more joy within myself, within my life, and those who come in contact with me, to let you know that it's okay. You know, I can remember even as a little girl, it's like everybody just sitting around talking about their problems all the time, you know? And of course, sex was something you just never talked about. I mean, if you did, it was in such a guarded and sheltered way. And that's probably why so many children, it's easy to manipulate children into things because they're not given the true knowledge and the true sacredness of their entire being, the whole being. You know, that shame and that guilt and that fear is inflicted upon them from a very early age. And that's something that, you know, we've got to change. We're whole beings, we're sexual beings, we're spiritual beings, we're soulful beings. So don't eliminate the sexual part and then just focus on the soul and the spirit. It's all a part of who we are. And it's a very enjoyable and pleasurable thing. Make that normal. Make that a normal part of conversations, a normal part of your existence, of a child's existence. And I'm not going to go into that too much right now, but eventually I will. But yeah, a lot of ways that children can be manipulated is because of that, the lack of knowledge, the guilt and the shame that surrounds those things. So yeah, that's me for today. I had a few technical issues coming on, but I got that taken care of. And I am happy to see you all here. And let it be known that pleasure is your birthright. Pleasure is your birthright. Stop suppressing your joy. Open your heart. Be true to who you are. And have some fun. You know, I can see how most of my life was a life of struggle. And then I had an epiphany and I was like, I don't want to learn any more life lessons through pain and suffering and struggle. I'm done. I'm getting off that bus. I'm off the struggle bus. So, whatever I'm going to learn from this day forward, and this was probably only 5 years ago, whatever I'm going to learn in life of value from this day forward, I want it to be with pleasure. And that's what I did. And that's what I've been doing. Learning life lessons through pleasure. So, if you are curious and if you feel there is more available to you, more joy, more depth, more truth, more pleasure, you are in the right place because I am definitely going to support you in that. And I am definitely going to share with you things that you can do that will bring more of it into your life. Because it's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a state of being. So think about what are some of the things that bring you pleasure and bring you joy every single day. Let's talk about it. So I am challenging myself to do that. And I'm challenging you to do that as well. Make a list of all the things that you can think of that bring you pleasure, have brought you pleasure, that bring you joy. Yeah, let's talk about it. And so when I see you next Sunday, we shall begin there. So once again, I invite you to like my channel. And if you like what you see, subscribe and even share it with your friends. The more, the merrier. You know, it's like one person is a cell. We're the cell. And then as more people and more cells come together, you create an organ. And we're creating an organ of pleasure and joy. And then those organs join in with more cells and more organs, and it becomes a system. So, yeah, let's do that. Let's become a system of joy. Have a wonderful day. Go out and have some fun. And I look forward to seeing you here next Sunday at 11 a.m. Peace.